Now you see, if you do that, you do at least give yourself a chance. Then it may be that when you are in this way freed from busybodiness and being out to improve everything, that your own nature will begin to take care of itself. Because you're not getting in the way of yourself all the time. You will begin to find out the great things that you do are really happening. The great things that you do are really happening. For example, no great genius can explain how he does it. The great things that you do are really happening. Yes, he says, I have learned a technique to express myself because I had something in me that had to come out. If I were a musician, I had to learn how music is produced. If I want to describe something, I have to learn a language so that others can understand it. I need a technique. But then beyond that, I'm afraid I can't tell you how it was that I used that technique to express this mysterious thing I wanted to show you. If we could tell people, we would have schools where we would infallibly train musical geniuses, scientific miracle minds. And there would be so many of them, we wouldn't know what to do with them. Geniuses would be a dime a dozen. And then we would say, well, these people are after all not very ingenious. You know, PhDs, how many of them are there? Because what is fascinating always about genius is the fellow does something we can't understand. He surprises us. The great things that you do are really happening. The great things that you do are really happening. For example, no great genius can explain how he does it. The great things that you do are really happening. But you see, just in the same way, we cannot understand our own brains. Neurology knows relatively little about the brain, which is only to say that the brain is a lot smarter than neurology. Yet there is this, which can perform all these extraordinary intellectual and cultural miracles. We don't know how we do, but we did. We didn't have some campaign to have an improved brain over the monkeys or whatever may be our ancestors. It happened. And all growth, you see, is fundamentally something that happens. But for it to happen, two things are important. And the first is, as I said, you must have the technical ability to express what happens. Secondly, you must get out of your own way. The great things that you do are really happening. The great things that you do are really happening. For example, no great genius can explain how he does it. The great things that you do are really happening. Showed you a system Let's all practice getting out of our own way. It would turn into another form of self-improvement. See, here's the dynamics of this. And we find this problem, you see, repeatedly throughout the entire history of human spirituality. In the phraseology of Zen Buddhism, you cannot get this by thinking. You cannot attain to it by not thinking. As getting out of your own way ceases to be a matter of choice when you see that there's nothing else for you to do. When you see, in other words, that doing something about your situation is not going to help you. When you see equally that trying not to do anything about it is not going to help you. Where are you? Where do you stand? You're nonplussed. And you are simply reduced to watching.
Hello. It's been a while. I know it's 5 a.m. I expected probably on like maybe 10 or 20 people to show up, but it's nice to see you guys. To 46 years, that's what's up. How you guys been? I'll be honest. Yeah, let me turn on the camera while I'm saying all this so it's a little more. My beard's gotten longer. My neck beard has gotten longer as well. Definitely need to shave that up a little bit. But let me start off by saying I didn't plan to be gone this long. It wasn't my intention at all. I figured for New Year's I'd take a little bit of a break because we were on kind of like a roll. I mean, we streamed for a month, 2 months almost, pretty much every single day. So like, I'll take a break. And I only planned on it for maybe be a week, 2 weeks max. But it turned into like a month in a couple days. Because during that period of time when I was taking my break, my old roommate and good friend, Andrew, died. Same age as me, 23. And I've known him since we were kids. And depending on like what class we were in, because you know when you're kids, you're in grade school, you guys switch classes every couple of years and you might not be able to even talk to each other, maybe at recess. They were kind of on and off friends throughout elementary school and high school and all that. But then after high school, we ended up moving in together and became pretty good friends. And when he died, it hurt because I don't think anybody knew it was coming. He didn't really like reach out to people. He didn't say that he was in bad health. So no one really got to say goodbye or like see you again someday. So it sucks. It sucks. So that kind of led me down a rabbit hole of like, you know, when someone is close to you and they're the same age and they die, it kind of puts stuff into perspective a little bit. That, I don't know, just the way that you have been kind of going about your life nonchalantly, not caring about shit. It just makes you kind of reflect on that, which ironically has put me in a state where I don't care about stuff right now. I care about you guys, and I do care about the health of the group and how portfolios are doing, of course, but at the same time, like there's just been like this overwhelming apathy surrounding absolutely everything for a moment, and I'm sure it will go away with time, but it just feels surreal. So I just kind of been, I've told, like I've sent out a group chat in the group a couple times, or like I'll be like, I'll hop on tomorrow morning, and then that morning just passes by, and then I'm like mad at myself because I made a commitment that I'll come on stream, and then I missed that commitment. So I don't know, it kept putting me deeper and deeper and deeper. So I've been kind of like just shoving myself in Tarkov, because Tarkov wiped when I started my break. And that was the whole reason why I was taking a break, mostly, just to kind of take some time to cool off. But yeah, that's why I've been gone. You know, it was a little mental health break, and then it turned into a mental health spiral, real fast. And it sucks. It sucks. But we're here. And we're gonna try to push through it. So sorry for like a bummer opening. I really wanted it to be more of like an upbeat comeback, but that's just the honest truth. And I mean, I'm sure I can get deeper on it, but I feel like I'll leave it there. But if you guys, want to check them out, I have a link to it that I can post in chat. But this is my buddy Andrew, who was a part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation when he was a kid. And I've watched the video like at least 10 times since he passed. But there you go. If you want to know who he is and what he went through life with. But let's start talking about crypto. So, just to recap, over the past month and a half, we entered 2 different setups, one on Ethereum, one on Bitcoin. About 2 months ago, November 22nd is when we got the entry. So this was the ABC setup for Bitcoin. We took that and held on to it. Later on, as the market formed, we ended up taking a hedge short position right here on Bitcoin, which did end up playing out momentarily to the downside. But as things kind of bottomed out, this is why we hedge. This is why we don't really try to pick and choose where the market's going. Now, if there's tremendous profit to be had, and we do see signs of life kind of possibly forming, new support, it's good to kind of take profit on those huge positions and then let things kind of cool off a little bit, see what's going to happen. And then there's most likely going to be an opportunity, or already an opportunity, to take a new long position to kind of work with momentum. And that's what we're doing here. So I have taken profit on that Bitcoin trade, and I got stopped out of the short trade because the short trade didn't go much further. On Ethereum, we did not necessarily catch the absolute bottom here. That would have been awesome if it pushed down a little bit lower, but unfortunately did not make a lower low, so couldn't be a part of that. But on the ultimate time frame here, we did have a massive ABC structure. Once we got above that, I took a long position. We've been using 3% stop loss, so our stop loss was comfortably underneath this line. So we did not get stopped out at all on this long position. And then as things went up, money. We did take a hedge short position off of this ABC setup right here. And let me pop the chat up just in case I'm not showing something. You guys can let me know. And as of right now, BTC does not have a long position that's either forming or has been formed. But the main reason why I took profit on the long is, one, it's a massive profit, as well as that we're kind of hitting some major resistance up here. We're starting to get back into the region of retesting possibly this resistance here, resistance / previous support, this resistance here, which does look like it's kind of acting as support right now, but we'll kind of get deeper into some stuff here and show you why that might not be the case. And as well as Ethereum testing some heavy resistance here and not really getting above it. But Ethereum, if we do happen to push down a little bit lower here, has a nice ABC position opening up. So I can go ahead and jump back into a long position and have that if the market is going to continue higher. Now, this could definitely easily turn into a larger position here, and we have one more jump up. If it happens, it happens. Take a look at the US 100 real quick. ES 100 is forming a larger ABC structure here. We put in a slightly higher high, and then now we're seeing a rejection off of that. I don't know if it's going to be a full-blown rejection. I hope not. We'll have to wait and see. One of my thoughts was, and I know I'm all over the place here. You guys know me, but this is kind of how my brain works. I still, obviously, because we're traders, I just care about market movement. I'm not sitting here with hopium and hoping that this is the bottom in no way, shape, or form. If we go to 10K, all the merrier. I'll be sitting right there with profit in hand if it does. But if we're starting to look at the higher time frames here, we're starting to see kind of like that V-shaped recovery come out of this pump. And I definitely think that we'll see downside for sure. But we might not see that 10K number. We might actually like put in kind of like a rounded bottom here. And that might start putting in probably the low. We definitely have to see if we do see a rejection, what this starts to look like down towards this point before we put in a lower low down here. But if we drop down to 10K fast as hell, like I said, I would love that even more. But SPY not looking too terribly bearish on the larger time frames. We did have this ABC back in December 22nd, which is conveniently the day I stopped streaming. And we did have that decline in the market after that. It looks like it might want to push a little bit higher over the next coupling days and see if we can put in a higher high. Might see a rejection off of that. If we do push higher, probably be aiming around 431. But ultimately, on the smaller time frames, we do kind of have like a sharp ABC where we might not have to put in a higher high. So if we get back down below this level tomorrow, well, I guess this opening today, we'll see what happens. One of the altcoin positions I'm in, which I'm actually pretty excited about, is KDA. I did get stopped out twice. I didn't have the TV hub running with KDA because my brain's been all over the place. But I was able to catch the last entry before we had this little bit of a drop here. The main reason why I'm interested in shorting KDA right now is altcoins typically, Bitcoin could not put in a lower low, but KDA definitely can. And I don't think KDA really is in a bad spot if it pushes lower. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up, and I hope Ryan's keeping up because, you know, he brought KDA to my attention. But KDA, I think, has a really bright future. Like, obviously, from a technological standpoint, it's cool. But I don't think it, like, brings anything, like, crazy. Let me roll that statement back. I think it does some stuff amazingly well, but we're kind of in this spot in crypto where like everything is almost the same, but yet have different technologies. With KDA, there's that other factor of profit. Profit drives engagement with these coins. And KDA is the most profitable coin on the market right now. I know it doesn't look like it because we're sitting at $1.21, but if we go over and go to asicminervalue.com, we can very easily see KDA is making $44 a day, which is double, double whatever coin is being mined on Eagle Song algorithm, and quadrupling almost. This is quadrupling Handshake. It's quadrupling Script. It's quadrupling. It's 10xing Bitcoin's profit. Now, obviously, someone's gonna be like, but this is the most insane miner. Yeah, it's expensive, but I'm sure a lot of these other miners are expensive just as well. I mean, this one's pulling 5,000 watts. I'm sure that's a big beast of a machine, all right, pulling Bitcoin. But this thing's more power efficient, so it costs less, and you're making more profit per day. So this is definitely going to keep some interest with the coin. Miners are keeping the market flowing, which gives incentive to traders. And then obviously, as things start to bottom out, that incentive for traders to continue trading, they're going to start trading it to the upside. And that's going to start getting the public involved. I think there's a lot of potential with it from this standpoint. If we're just looking at these logistics here, instead of just talking about all the hype of this coin does that and that, I'm talking about real world factors. What drives attention? Money. And it's there. So I would really like to go ahead and capitalize on a short trade, build up my portfolio a little bit, and then go ahead and switch over to a long. Because if we look at the larger time frame here, we can see a couple different supports. All right, we had $1.38, which is what we're currently retesting and got pretty severe rejection off of. So it doesn't look like it wants to push any higher. And then as well as that, the next possible local low, last known support of the bull market, was 70 cents. So let's say for, if we go down to 70 cents, what would that do for us? Well, one, it would form a gigantic ABC structure here. And then what do you see within this B wave? You see a gigantic ABC. Now, what I'm hoping to do is we're capitalizing off of the ABC top within the C wave to carry it down through. And then once we're below this resistance here, hopefully that holds up and acts as a shield to prevent us from getting stopped out any further in the future. It's not a guarantee, but we'll see what happens. So if we get down to 70 cents, hopefully that kind of rounds out that bottom, and we can go ahead and get back above 79 cents, complete that ABC structure, and maybe we'll see some really decent buys come in. I'm definitely looking to go ahead and get some accounts rolled in as we get closer to that level so I can buy some actual KDA. Of course, I'll have long positions on it and kind of just compound it all the way through. But we're kind of talking close in the future. We're talking another year or two from now. Are we going to be seeing like real payoffs from this? But I'm just saying in the meantime, the interest is there from the market. As long as it is producing the profitability that it's producing right now, there's always going to be people buying and selling this coin. Traders trading it, miners selling it. It's going to be a free-flowing market. It's going to be awesome. So really bright future for that not a lot of other coins have during a bear market. So I just wanted to bring that to a couple people's attention because when you lay it all out like that, it definitely looks fascinating. Because, I mean, we've all been through it. If you've been through one bull market, you've been through the other. There's 1,000 different coins talking about 1,000 different technology, 1,000 different use cases. But in reality, until something really happens, what's driving this market? Money. So it's there. One factor that I wanted to bring up that I usually don't, but it's kind of severe, so I did want to mention it. As we're up in this range here, I do want you guys to look for yourselves. If you go to your RSI, like I said, don't typically use RSI all that often, but if we look at the 125 RSI, which kind of gets a greater average, what do you see here? I mean, momentum is just dropping off a cliff, putting in lower highs as we're putting in these slightly higher highs. Now, I've talked about this before. It's kind of like a bouncing ball or rubber band method. But, for example, if you throw a ball at a piece of glass, all right, if you throw it hard enough, the glass is going to break and it's going to go through it. All right, that's the scenario that this divergence works out. But there is a chance that it bounces off the window and it comes flying back. So if this bearish momentum that's building up on this time frame does not see a significant drop come in, there is a chance that it will get reverted back to the upside like a rubber band. All right, we might see a push higher. Very similar thing happening on ETH right now as well. ETH definitely has a more formidable pattern, not only from the fact that it has a possible hedge position coming in right here at 1513 from this ABC position, but it has more of like a defined shape. We have this little ABC top, which has eventually turned into kind of a head and shoulders here. So if we're looking for a target, we're definitely expecting something much lower. I've been taking a look at a couple different coins. Apple put in its ABC bottom. We talked about that all last December, and it finally put in that ABC bottom, came back above. We're starting to see it push to the upside. I've mentioned a couple times, Apple does not make an ABC pattern all that often, but when it does, it puts in generational highs from that point on. Definitely, I don't know if we have a bright future ahead of us in terms of the stock market or if anything at all. There's always people talking about the Great Reset. It happens all the time. It doesn't matter if the market's making all-time highs, all-time lows. They're always talking about the Great Reset. Yes, there's going to be recessions at some point in the future, but if all things considering, over the past year and a half, ever since 2021, I mean, we've been on a 35% decline. and we're hitting some major macro local lows here and finding some support. I don't deny that it can push lower, but if it does, probably see it coming from a mile away. We'll have some positions open. If it does, I mean, the next spot is pretty bad. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if people want to hold this up or if they want to see a calamity in the markets. But I mean, yeah, that's it in terms of the recap, what I'm seeing, what we did, what we're doing. I'll go ahead and pop open my current positions here. Challenge portfolio is on the up and up. Like I said, I do promote you guys keeping your money off of exchanges. Only have what you need on there. If you're trading leverage, you only need roughly around 25-30% depending on what your risk parameters are set to in order to make the trades that you need to make. All right, everything else can be kept on either a hardware wallet that you download to your computer and install, or you can use, a ledger, whatever you need. But we were at $400 before all this happened, and now we're up to 1,089. So definitely the market had an awesome run. I love to see it. Hopefully you guys made out like a bandit. I really do. Because, I mean, it was a tough couple months there. It definitely was. So hopefully you guys didn't lose faith. You guys grabbed these entries while they were hot. You didn't get cold hands, and you let it ride. All right. I know that term gets thrown around so often. Cold hands, weak hands, diamond hands. It's not, when I say it, I hope it comes across differently. I'm not saying just blindly hold something because you just want it to do something. We had a plan. We had hedges where if something went wrong, we were still going to walk with money and everything was going to be fine and dandy. But it's about holding to that plan and letting things work out, not how they're supposed to, but how they can. You never know what this market is going to do, whether it's going to be fantastic runs to either or side. You don't know when it's going to happen. So you need to kind of plan appropriately, let things work out, and let it ride. I mean, it's something that hopefully these past, 3-4 months has taught people, because there's been a lot of positions where they just quite didn't work out appropriately. That's going to happen to any strategy. So I appreciate everybody that's been sending me messages and comments. One guy was like, "What happened? You make so much money, you run away to the Caribbean?" No. I ran away from just myself for a little bit, but I can't say I'm fully back. I can't. But I'm definitely going to put in some more effort to be back. But I'm looking at the chat now, so I know I probably wasn't responding to most of your messages. I just want to get stuff out of the way, because I know there's a lot to catch up on. Do you think the bottom is in on BTC? I don't think so, no. I think there's a possibility that we have touched bottom, but I don't think it's all up and up from here, personally. I think there will be a pretty decently sized retest to the downside. There's still a possible chance we go down and test 10K. We don't have to necessarily hit 10K, but that's probably what the market would be aiming for before it hit any sort of support or made any support, because there is nothing between 6.3, 16.3 and 10K. Binance just minted BUSD just before Bitcoin pump. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't really miss the fear. Before I left, I mean, there was so much fear surrounding the FTX debacle and USDT and this and that and this and that. What's happening? Blah, 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 blah. It was just so much jumbling around my brain every day, making me almost second guess myself. Like I said, there's nothing that's certain in this world. USDT, Bitcoin, gold, whatever it might be. Hedge yourself. Hedge against your own ideas. Make a plan B. Make a plan C. I would attempt Wardle in order to get back into the flow of things, but pretty late where I am, or early, depending on what lifestyle you style you live. Look at it. I understand volume is one thing. I just look at the chart. And of course you have a lot of that volume is anticipating old previous levels like these resistances. But to me, what I've found is that previous resistances don't really hold up in terms of being the new support. You usually fall through them before you see them come back. So in terms of like supports, this was a previous support. This was a previous support. This was a previous resistance here at 13.8K. So that might be what people are anticipating. And I'm sure like it could still work out, but I'm looking at just these support levels. So between this level here, 16.3 and 10K, there was no known support levels. There was a resistance level. Not denying, the volume profile. I used to use volume profile in the past. It's just I like to look at the local lows and local highs and base my judgments off of that. Shred the noise a little bit. I do have a stop loss on BTC. So TradingView Hub, if you let it do it automatically, it doesn't throw stop losses on here. It sets up a opposite conditional trade. So you can see right here, trade type close short. So you can see BTC 24,087. You can see that right up there, acting as a stop loss. If it's not despair, it's not despair if it hits 10K because everyone's talking about it. If you don't think it's over, it's not bottom. Probably when it hits 6K. Maybe. Well, the wick highs and wick lows don't differentiate. So I'm looking at major trend shifts. So regardless if I'm on the 12-hour, daily, weekly, the trend shifts are still there. Obviously, the more you kind of span out, you'll start to not see it, but it's where these major downtrends, so you go from an uptrend to a major downtrend. Where does that major downtrend stop? Because a lot of downside momentum ending in one place kind of signifies that's where people would like to buy. So right here, we don't see any major downtrends that are stopped. Yes, we have pullbacks, but they're not really necessarily major. So right here, this was our next known decently sized pullback. It's by no means a crazy pullback, which is why 16.3K really wasn't like a die-hard level for me. I was like, as long as we hold it, I'm bullish, but if we dip below it, I would start to get bearish. So like up here, same thing applies. So when we had this major uptrend, we didn't have any major pullbacks until right here. And that major pullback ended at 29,000. And then we go ahead and mark that level out. We can see that it stopped this downflow here. That's all. Like I said, by no means am I saying like this is the correct way to do things. This is just how I look at the chart, cut out some of the noise, and just have a good time with it. Yeah, I'm looking at trend shifts. That's all. Where do the major uptrends end, which usually signifies a bigger resistance, so on and so on. And of course, you can cut down the time frame and get into like the minute of it all. But we're just talking about the major time frames here. So like with the ABC up here, it's definitely like a smaller ABC. But when you combine that with a couple different factors, what some other coins are looking like, I could definitely see this being some sort of like pincer top. That's usually how it works out as well. Like the tops are usually kind of jagged and they're kind of like choppy, and then the drops are just straight. You see this one? Kind of jagged top, straight drop. I look at origin lines for macro support. I do not know what origin lines are. Do you not get charged on fees that way? No, you still get charged fees. Yeah, LTC has definitely been a choppy one, but it does have a nice macro ABC structure right here. So if we can get back underneath of this level, that's definitely gonna be awesome for short buyers or short sellers. And we're starting to see some sort of ABC. So these two supports, two resistances here. Sorry, it's late. If we can get back underneath those and hold underneath those, we might have a better chance of getting back under this one here at 85.74. And if we continue to hold below that, we can go back down and retest some of these lows, possibly. Jagged tops are basically whack off distribution patterns. We, the crypto world, have come to learn what those are in the past 3 years. Yeah, definitely. To me, I call it a hiccup. Because in a perfect world, obviously ABCs will only have two tops. Like right here. 1, 2. Boom, done. Here. This one I couldn't say is an easy 1, 2. You wouldn't have been stopped out, most definitely. It's just a retest, didn't put in a higher high. But 1, 2, bang, done. This one didn't put in a higher high. 1, 2, bang, done. Right here. 1, 2, bang, done. Right here. 1, 2, bang, done. And the most important one of all. Well, I guess this one you could consider jagged because there's 3 higher highs technically, but for all intents and purposes, 1, 2, done. when it's a 3 topper, I just call that a fluke because you have the first initial ABC and you go 1 more for good measure, and then it goes. Do I still speak to Crypto Face? No, I don't. No. But we ended up making 1,200% profit on BTC's long trade and 900% profit on ETHs. So definitely good wins. Definitely good wins. And the feeling of like the way that it happened is amazing as well. Because obviously we incorporated the TV hub. So now I have to watch the chart. I have to understand what patterns I want to play in terms of which ABCs are important to me. But then once I set up the parameters for the trade, I let it go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I walk away. In fact, I could just sit back and let it do its thing. We didn't get stopped out too much. It was a good time. I don't use Market Cypher anymore. No. I have a much more simplistic way of looking at the market. Some people call me an idiot for it. I call myself relaxed for it. You can put so much time and effort into learning thousands of different methods of statistics, analytics, and blah, 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 blah. I could say a lot of those things definitely might give you a little bit more win rate. But to me, I just want it to be a dance. I don't want it to be a battle to win the market. I want to work with it, salsa with it. I don't want to try to predict its every single move. Just have a free flow opportunity. I'm on a Cadena short from 1.32. 5x no stop loss from over the weekend, just 3% long. Multiple month hold. Big win if we hit my... So big win if we hit your target for your short or your long. Or did you take profit on your long? I'm not going to say it's a stupid play. I'm not a big supporter of no stop loss, though. I know it's a personal choice, but I've done it in the past. And I remember back in the day, people would point to the video of that chick from FTX Alameda saying she doesn't use stop loss and go, look, this person that, runs this $1 billion company, blah, 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 doesn't use stop losses. I mean, shit. Like, that's your example. I think if you're not using stop loss, it has to be baked into your strategy. So for example, if I was using 4% risk, like that's the most I would ever want to lose, I would just make my margin 4%. So that way, if I got liquidated, my liquidation was essentially my stop loss. No, like I think if things go right, Cadena will possibly touch 70 cents. And then hopefully get back about 79 cents and we hold from there. If it dumps down lower, I don't think it's going to really make or break the coin. I think it's already proven, because when we were back down at 78 cents, whatever it was at, it was still the top of the list on ASIC miner. So I don't think it dumping down more than that is going to really hurt it at all. So you're only sticking to ABC and nothing else, pretty much. Like I said, it works for me. It works for me psychologically. It works for me profitability wise. I'm not, when things go good, they go crazy good. Plain and simple. But for anybody that's like out there trying to find a method that's going to turn them 0 to hero in a bear market, I'm not here for that. During the bull market, yeah, we can talk about going 0 to hero all day, because it is possible during a bull market, because it's really easy during a bull market. Go 0 to hero in a bear market, extremely hard. I think we've done a pretty good job. Everyone only shows their profits. I really want to know, how is your win rate on ABCs? I've always been honest. My win rate's not 90%. I've never ever been out here claiming that. I said during the bear market, you're probably going to see like 15 to 20% at most. But when you're walking away with 10, 15, 20 R&Rs, that's what offsets that losing rate. Plain and simple, it's basic math. I mean, we just had 2 trades where if we would have lost, we would have lost $60. But we walked away with pretty close to 1,000. I think like 900 something dollars. So now that affords me the ability to lose 15 times. All right. And now if I can pull off another winner like that, which it's only a matter of time, then at that point, I could lose 7 times, win another one. Now I'm positive 23. And I keep up the cycle. Now I'm sticking to my word. It's not like I'm trying to pull outlandish plays out here. I do watch some other YouTubers, and it seems like if you look at what their margins are and everything like that, their margins change drastically from trade to trade. If you look at my close profit loss here, you'll see all my losses are very similar because I'm actually sticking to a plan. And when I win, so you can see minus $22, minus $24, minus $27, minus 20, minus 31. Big win. To me, that's what real trading looks like. The people that are pulling crazy profits out of their ass and their margins are changing all over the place, their stop losses are changing all over the place, it seems like they try to kind of just go balls to the wall to get big profits on their screen as a marketing ploy. I think I am showing you currently that's not what I'm chasing here. I'm here for a good time. I'm not here to make profit off anybody. If I was, I wouldn't let what's currently happening get in the way. Clout chasers, market manipulators in terms of trying to manipulate other people's brains, they do everything in their power to make sure that they're getting in front of people's eyeballs. Big profits, crazy thumbnails, just outlandish claims of like 90% profit, win rate, crazy things. It just, I hope I've proven over the multiple years I've been doing this that that's not the case. If that's what you're insinuating. AZTV, what's going on, man? It was the Saudis. I'm trying to put on my my caveman feet. What I know got me like caveman feet for Christmas, and I wear them all the time, like unironically. I'm too lazy to be a clout goblin, man. Really am. Last of Us series, I haven't watching that. I have. Last episode was good. Really good. I'll be honest, I was expecting HBO to go too far with it because it's HBO. And I kind of, like, I skipped through that scene, you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh, they didn't even do anything. Because like, I'm all cool with people loving each other, but I don't know, just something about that kind of stuff. Not for me, particularly. But in turn, like that entire episode was like the dichotomy of them meeting and their first interactions and how like they were so hesitant and far apart from each other, and at the end they were so close when they shared that meal. Kite, can you please make a separate video for the strategy you use? I know you show how, but I wish you would make videos on separate techniques. Yeah, so if you go to my channel, YouTube now separates it. So you can actually go to my channel and then click on videos instead of live streams. All right, because now they separate it, which is really, really good. Because before, like, my videos would get lost in the sauce of all my live streams. And now you can click on videos. I have a video on how to set up an automatic procedure to execute ABCs for you. I know it says ABC trading bot. Some people in the comments were claiming that I was trying to say that it finds ABCs for you, it trades them for you, and you make infinite money. It's an infinite money printer. In no way, shape, or form. Basically, you just set up a level, and then it will either enter that level, and then if you get stopped out, it will enter it again for you. Plain and simple. That way, you don't have to worry about sleeping. But right here, I have ABC strategy tutorial. And I rewatched it maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and I don't think anything's really changed. I'm pretty sure I still covered the hedge strategy as well, but you can watch it back and let me know. And this one right here, Leverage Trade Correctly, talks about R&R, how to calculate risk and do it appropriately. There's a good couple tutorials on here. So if they don't satisfy you and what you need, let me know. And if enough people tell me that, I'll make a new one. I'll make an updated one. What the Binance cartel and dubious Dubai shill influencers have been doing to this market will have dire consequences the rest of this year. The market will pay dearly for their indiscretions. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what caused such a debacle in 2016, because we saw the same thing in 2016. People pop up, take advantage of it. So a lot of the times when I'm talking to new friends or anybody else that's interested in crypto, and they go like, what do you do? And I go, you know, I trade crypto and I make crypto YouTube videos. And they go, oh. Now I always have to preface it with, I've been making crypto YouTube videos. I didn't start my YouTube channel when it was 2015, 2016, 2017, when things were good. I started my YouTube channel when things were bad and nobody was making money. I was just learning how to start a trade. I documented my entire journey, my thoughts, my processes. I went from different strategies. And over that time, I've built up what I like the best. And I've stuck to it. And I've shown that I stuck to it. And I'm making profit off of it. I'm not going to say it's crazy profit that I'm making in this bear market right now, but we have turned $1,000 into like 4.5K. I think that's a win. Not a lot of people do. They go, oh. But when you put it in perspective, you took $100,000, now you have $350,000 more. Not a lot of people can do that in the first place. It's taken multiple months, 7, 8 months to do so. But shit, time's tough right now. Time is tough. So I take it slow. I'm not trying to rush stuff. I'm not trying to show off. I just don't see the purpose. It's too much effort for what? To look cool for people on the internet? I just don't understand. I don't. The name of my strategy, I just call it ABC. I'm not going to call it my strategy because it's just an adaptation of Elliott Wave and then simplification of that adaptation. I was really into Elliott Wave going into the bull market, and I was looking at everything through that lens. The problem with Elliott Wave is, in a lot of different strategies, is the ego. A lot of the times people will go from different strategies and like try to like build up a knowledge base of so many different things to almost inflate their ego, so that when they're talking to other people that are also in the Bitcoin market, they can bring out all these terminologies and go this and that, and look at this statistic and that statistic. And it's an ego trip. Because if we just pull away that curtain for just a hot second, yes, there is ways that you can kind of guesstimate what's going on, but you can't predict what is going to happen. You can estimate it. You can give it a chance. And that was the problem with Elliott Wave for me at first. And then also, I have to think about the consequences of me being like a public-facing person. There's a lot of people that look at what I do and like me as a person, and they'll follow every single move. And while that's awesome, and I really thank people that do that in a way, I have to always be cognizant of the example that I'm setting. So with Elliott Wave, the problem is like it gives this ego trip of what the market's gonna do, when that's just not the case. Elliott Wave should be looking at as like plotting out a map and then looking at the multiple different routes things can take, and then scouting out ahead and making plans and preparing for certain scenarios, rather than, I don't know, creating a multi-year trajectory that's going to follow it exactly. So ABCs, after I read A Harmonic Elliott Wave, A Case for Modification, it simplified things, which is ironic to say because that book is so damn complicated. But like, I don't know how it clicked in my brain, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I was on a lot of Adderall to get through that book. And as things, like, I just read page by page and just went down the list. And during the part of the book, he mentioned a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about now, and I related to it. And he talked about simplification. Obviously, there's a lot of Fibonacci's in that book, and I understand the importance of Fibonacci's to a certain extent. But I like to look off of real world factors. Where were the supports? Where were the resistances? And then kind of work hand by hand with the new strategy. So, ABCs allow me to step away from it, where I am simply an observer of the market. I notice certain things, like we're putting in major trend resistances, retesting those resistances. The market wants to push higher, but it just can't. And then I go ahead and I throw some risk on the board. And the whole thing is if it pays off, it pays off huge. If it doesn't pay off, then so what? I lost a little bit. And it does get aggravating when you lose a little bit a lot. But just with any strategy, you gotta hang in there. Sometimes there's just not good times where things are just not going right. But then there's times like this where we made a killing to our portfolio. Might not look a lot to a lot of people because they look at the dollar amount. I'm looking at the percentage amount, looking at the big picture. Of course, I have accounts in the background I don't show for security reasons and some other reasons, but those accounts did well too. So, I've been watching you for a while. I really like your view on trading, but do you think that everyone can do it with just the simplicity, or you have to have some psychological factors that influence your decisions? I think there's some people that can innately understand how trading works from like a risk to reward perspective, and they'll do a lot better than others. But trading, unlike, I'm not gonna say there's nothing like trading. Trading is not only understanding how the market works, but understanding how you work. Sometimes you have to put roadblocks in the way of yourself in order to come out on top. Back in the day, I had a huge problem with DCing and losing trades. So I had to eliminate that and use practically 100% margin. So that way, once I got into a trade, there was no margin left to do anything else. You have to create roadblocks and stick to them. And I don't think anybody is an innate good trader and just come out swinging. You know, you can have beginner's luck, of course, but I think it takes a lot of time if you're hard-headed, and it takes a pretty decent amount of time if you're willing to evaluate yourself and your thought process and undergo a psychological analysis of, which is hard to do by yourself. That's why people hire therapists. But I think the fact that this whole thing deals with math and statistics, when you can put that stuff on paper, it helps people see things through a different lens, and they can start to visualize how things could be if they made one simple change. And I definitely had that moment. I was on a vision quest, you could say, late one night in the summer, And I was staring at the chart and I was just wondering why things weren't going my way. And that's when I came up with the risk reward calculator. It's nothing evolutionary in terms of it's never been done before. It was the fact that I didn't know what a risk reward calculator was. I've never seen one before. I didn't see anybody else mention it at all. I don't even think Bybit had a calculator at that time. And even if someone else did have a risk reward calculator, it's the simple fact that I thought through it myself and why I needed it. And I created one myself through a mathematical formula. Not a complicated mathematical formula. I'm not talking like pie charts and shit like that. I understood what it was, why it was needed, not just using it. And it shifted my entire perspective on what I was doing. You have to have a click moment where you sit down and you think. I know there's a lot of people, myself included, that are just do people, where you throw stuff at a wall and see what sticks. I love that method. I do, but that moment where I thought and I sat there and I looked at it and just brainstormed. I was, like I said, on a vision quest, so I had some enhancements to make my brain a little bit more creative, but it worked. Are you advocating against or pro to DCA losing position? Against. I think there is room for it once you're more advanced, but not much. Spot trading, all right, is a different story. Spot trading, you can buy support regions, and if they fall through, you buy the next support region. There is no losing. With leverage trading the way that we are now, you can get liquidated. And you might go, well, I won't get liquidated because I'll add more margin. You have infinite money? You go, I don't have infinite money, but the market has to bottom somewhere. Does it? Or let's say you're in a short position. Does the market have to top out somewhere? Does it? You would need infinite money. So I was just losing way more than I should have when I was putting myself in those losing DCA positions and just throwing more and more margin on top of it to move my liquidation up or down so that I didn't feel the pain. Plain and simple, I don't want to feel pain. So I did that. You know what it did? It caused more pain. Even worse. So the best thing you can do is get used to it. Callous yourself with 1,000 tiny arrows of, oh, stopped out, ooh, stopped out. And get used to it, because it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. So why not get numb to it? So it's not like I just take an ABC and I hold on to it for forever. When the market creates a position where it is still showing signs of weakness, I can go ahead and hop out of the original short or the original long if it's showing signs of support, and I can compound my entry into the next trade. And by that point, I usually have a hedge position as well, where if I'm wrong about the market continuing this ultimate trend, I have that backup plan. So it's not just like a one entry and done. There's a lot more process to it, but for the most part, pretty damn chill. That's all it needs to be. I think BTC can have a short-term move up to 23,200. Then we'll see the major one move down tomorrow. Of course, I mean, we definitely might want to retest the previous A, or possibly this is creating a B wave for the top. We might see a higher high C wave before we actually see a pullback. whatever happens. Miss you, Kite. Glad to see you back. Thank you. Glad to be back. Change of pace. Change of pace. But I'll be heading off pretty soon here. Maybe 5-10 more minutes. I just want to say hi. Like I said, I didn't expect this many people to hop on a live stream. I know not everybody lives in the same time zone. But glad to see some familiar faces. Oh. Definitely almost my bedtime. I was reading books about trading as it's not possible to trade with just price action. I always found it weird. I kept searching until I met Kite. My account is growing. Thanks to you, man. Thank you. For anybody that's out there that likes to read about trading, Tom Hugard, Trader Tom, has put out an incredible book. I don't know if he's working on another one or if he has released another one. Not quite sure. It's called Best Loser Wins. Great book, by the way. Tom, if you ever know who I am in the future, I love you very much. I found Tom Hugard after I started adapting my play style and how I viewed the market. I stumbled across Tom Hugard, and as I was coming to this realization of how not things worked, but my understanding of how I felt how things worked, it's almost like the universe aligned us. And I was listening to him and I was like, this man's actually speaking facts. Because I like to click on a lot of trading stuff to just laugh. Because there's a lot of bullshit out there, to be honest with you. And I was expecting it to be nonetheless, but it actually wasn't. And I was like, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. And it surprised me. And I watched documentaries, like self-made documentaries almost about him. And the man is quite the man, to say the least. I definitely love me some Tom Hugard. His book's not this is how you should trade. It's more about what it's like to be a trader, the psychological struggles, just stories of stuff that's happened. It's a really cool book, and I think it's amazing. I can't recommend it enough. It's Zen nicotine pouches. I don't know if that would be considered snus. It's just plant fiber with nicotine salt. I have to drink a lot more water. Tom Hugard. If you look up Trader Tom on YouTube, you can find him. You'll probably find a link to his book. Or you can just look up his book, Best Loser Wins. But, all right, guys. I'm going to call it. I appreciate everybody that showed up. And I should be keeping more up to date with you guys as my mental state gets better. But we'll play it by ear. Okay. So I love you and I missed you. And I'll see you soon. Hope you guys have good mornings or good nights if you're just getting to bed around this time, you absolute trash bag of a human being, myself included. So All right, guys. Let's do the thing. Been a long time, but let's do the thing. I'm not like really in the best physical state for it, but it is what it is. Bye!